Welcome to the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom Summit, Parents Edition. Your host for this session is Jackie Bailey. Jackie is the creator of Speak, Feed, Lead, a nonprofit helping adults and youth take the stage. She's got another amazing guest coming right up. Take it away, Jackie.
Thank you. It is delightful to be hosting part of the Health, Wealth, Wisdom Summit today. I love this community of people who are serving parents and serving kids. And today I have a guest who's going to be talking a little bit about what you do when you kind of lose your passion for what you're doing and what can you do more that might actually impact yourself and those around you. Her name is Justine Reese, and the title of her presentation is Find Your Voice and Step into Your Power. So Justine is an experienced voiceover artist, a podcaster, an executive coach, and a thought leader with over 20 years experience in the business. She has narrated audiobooks, voiced numerous commercial campaigns, animation, grunted her way through video games, and hosts the TechLink Health podcast and the Such a Voice podcast. Ooh, she's busy. If you have been wondering, what can I do next with my life? You definitely want to tune in today. Justine, welcome to the summit. What do you want to say about your passion?
Oh my gosh, Jackie, it's so great to be with you again. And the secret is that we are actually on the same floor of a hotel because we got to be at another event live and in person. What I want to say about my passion is that as I have done a lot of voiceover over the last 20 years, literally my first demo was on a cassette tape. Do you remember what those are? Where you had to like rewind them with your, I had started to do some coaching, and I've seen this evolution of voiceover that you had to, when I started it, you did need to live in Los Angeles or Chicago or, New York to be where ad agencies were and studios. But now voiceover is literally everywhere. And it's an amazing second career for a lot of people. So a lot of parents. It's an amazing first career for a lot of kids. And it can be done literally from anywhere. And when you start thinking about where do I hear voices, and not just in your head, Jackie, but although we do hear a lot of voices in our head. But start to wake up. Like, that's what I would say. Start to listen to, oh my gosh, there's a voiceover on my app that I do meditation to. There's a voiceover on the news, obviously. There's a voiceover on Facebook. There's a voiceover at the museum tour. There's a voiceover on this training video. There's a voice, should I go on the audiobook, on the podcast, right? So we're everywhere. And I have come into contact with a lot of people who have thought about voiceover, had no idea how to get into it because it is very mystifying. So I love to demystify the industry as a whole and help people figure out how to get started in it. And also to be honest with them and evaluate their voice, because it's not right for everybody. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a certain kind of voice. It's not really about that. It's about, what do I do with my voice? Because the truth is, diverse voices are needed. There's not just James Earl Jones out there, or Morgan Freeman, or Tina Fey. So don't think like, well, my voice is just not suited for this. Your voice being quirky and a little odd might be exactly what a client wants.
Well, in fact, there is a question in the chat that says, how do you help me with my nasally voice? Can you help people with that?
Well, there's something to say for nasal, because one of the things that I love to do with my students is play a game called emotional charades. And what the game is, Jackie, is everybody turns the person who's in the hot seat turns their camera off. And I privately, because we do it on Zoom now, I privately chat them an emotion. And so an emotion like sarcasm does really well with a, kind of a nasally voice. Because imagine never before had anything like this occurred. So that's kind of nasally. So there's a way to use any kind of affect to actually produce an emotional tone. And one of the things that I talked about in this other event that Jackie and I were involved in was that I love to help people find the emotion in their voice. I consider it a superpower, in the same way Brene Brown talks about her superpowers of, emotional mapping. And I have found some really cool things of what do we do with what I call the 3 Ps, pitch, pacing, and physicality, to come up with a certain emotion. For instance, if you were going to talk about something and you were very excited, what would your pace be, Jackie?
It would be quick. Yeah,
Right.
because your heart would be pumping faster. So you would probably talk faster and you'd get excited and you'd go, your volume would go up. Yeah.
Brilliant. So if we had the cameras, if we had your camera off and you did your script and you just did that, and I had to guess the emotion, I think we would all put one in the chat if you agree with me. We would all guess excited because she picked up her pace. And the other thing we do is we raise our pitch because we're so excited. So here's the other little mystifying thing about voiceover. It doesn't just take place from here. It really is a full body experience. And even if I'm sitting, I usually am working with my hands, certainly with my face. Try this one. Say, I love you with your face like that.
I love you.
Okay. Now, Jackie, I want you to smile that beautiful pearly white smile and say the same thing.
I love you, Justine.
Oh, Jackie. We're having a love fest. Now, what would you rather hear, right? So put a 1 in the chat if you're like, oh, I want to hear that. So smile is something a client really wants for, say, a Honda commercial or a product, right? Honda, it has everyone smiling. It's actually a script I do with some of my students.
Right.
So those are some technical things that you can learn. Anyone can learn. However, you have to have the willingness to learn, and you have to not skip coaching and training. If you want to do voiceover, the first thing you need is not a microphone. It's coaching and training. And I think that's the mistake people make sometimes.
Well, yeah, because we are so used to our voice, we've had it our whole lives.
Right.
We really don't. We really don't know, as silly as it might seem, all that we can do with it, and we really don't know how our voice sounds to other people, right?
Correct.
And I love the idea of smiling, because even when I was in dental management years ago, and I was
very,
consulting,
very fun and a very fun industry, I'm sure.
well, yeah, you could say that, I guess. But I would train people how to answer the phone as the face of that dental practice. Most of the time, people will meet them by their voice more first time, right? And so I would tell them, I actually had them put a little sticky on their desks that said smile, so that when they answered the phone, they had to smile and say, hello, thank you for calling Dr. Simpson's office. This is Jackie. And it made a huge difference, because you can hear a smile. But we don't recognize that with our own voice, how powerful it can be. But like you said, you have to be trained. And I think it's really possible for someone to point out something in the way that you speak that might be undermining your communication with others, and you not even realize it. Am I right?
You are so right. And that's the happy side effect of studying voiceover, is increasing your communication at work, on the phone, with your kids, with your spouse or partner, with your parents. I always tell men in my classes, guys, we're going to talk about your feelings, so get ready. And they're like, wait a second, that was voiceover. I'm like, no, talk about your feelings, because what we feel shows up in the voice. So it's all about the authenticity. And that's where coaching and training is a little interesting, because it's not just about what does my voice do? I can talk up here and I can talk down here. It's really about, how do I come into contact with my authentic voice? Because that's where the power is. So I'm going to tell you 4 things that are really important if you want to do voiceover. And if you skip any one of them, it's like the table legs, the table's going to fall. And here's what they are. Coaching and training, specifically for voiceover, not for singing, not for speaking necessarily, and not for acting, although all those things will improve, by the way. And all those things, if you do acting, singing, or any of those things, they will help your voiceover. Okay. So coaching and training. 2, you need a home studio, and you need to know how to record properly. But you don't do that before you get coaching and training. So when people tell me I'm getting into voiceover and I bought the best equipment, I'm like, cool, how much did you spend? And then I'm not even going to drop numbers, but they'll tell me something like $2,000. And I'll be like, and what exactly are you going to record? And do you have any coaching and training? No. Don't do that, guys. Put your money literally where your mouth is. And that is with coaching and training. Then you will need a microphone, but it's not just about the microphone because there's skills to learn how to do good recording. I'll get into that. I'll touch on each of these things briefly. Training and coaching, home studio equipment, professionally produced demos. I'm sorry, you got to pay for them. It's worth it. If you're going to invest in yourself, this is an investment in yourself, a work that can stay with you for the rest of your life. Literally, my mother started doing a little voiceover. She had some radio background. She made her demos at 82, for real. So they need to be professionally produced because they have sound effects and music. They need to sound like work that you've actually done. And I know we're making it up, right? But in the same way that, would you show up to a job interview with no resume, Jackie?
No, no, you wouldn't be taken seriously.
That's right. And I always talk about Monster.com and Indeed. So there's voiceover websites that you can actually go get work on. But if you showed up to Monster.com and you didn't upload a resume and you just put a little picture of yourself, you're like, you know what, you guys, I do stuff and I'm really adorable and you could hire me to do the stuff that you need because I'm sure I can figure it out. Then he's going to hire you?
I'm a quick learner. I can do anything.
And Jackie, I know that you can do anything. So I would say, that's another thing is that don't skip that important step. And when you reach out to me, I can help give you resources for that, for those things. And the fourth thing is marketing, because all the creativity and the beautiful things we do. And I learned this in college because I got my theater degree and I was like, woohoo. And I'm like, okay, now what? And when I first got my first commercial voiceover demo, they handed it to me and I was like, okay, but now what? And nobody wanted to help me. So being able to go somewhere and have all of those things, to learn all those things and do it remotely from home, set up your home studio, get help with all that, that's completely transformed the industry of voiceover and allowed it to be accessible for everybody, pretty much.
Wow.
And that's where I feel like I can help evaluate the voice and the willingness and the coachability. That's the other thing.
This sounds like so much fun and like so much opportunity, because I know that there's probably some people in this audience or hearing it later that are feeling like I could go earn some extra money for my family, especially we're heading into a recession, as some of the experts will say. And I'm thinking, what could I do where I can still be at home with the kids or I can still be here or whatever? There also might be some teenagers going, well, it might be fun to earn some extra money for college or this and that. What could I do that doesn't take a lot of effort, but I could still enjoy it? This sounds like the perfect fit, because with a little training and with the right tools, wow. I mean, what are some of the opportunities that you provide your clients? What are some of the things that you've coached them to be able to be ready to achieve?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think we want students, and I do work with another party to help produce it because I'm one person. So I do a lot of some of the coaching part, but then we have people that can help produce the demos, that can help with the marketing and really learn how to record proper audio, because when we audition, and that's what we do, you guys, you'll learn how to audition. Don't be afraid of auditioning, because that's part of what we have to do as voice talent, is to audition for jobs, and you get used to that as part of your job. So the kinds of work that is out there, I think that's the question, really, like what kinds of work would I grab? Think about small business, okay? Think about all the small business owners, all of you parents out there that maybe have a small business. Do you have a video? I have a question. Put a 1 in the chat if you have some kind of video content on your website, on a YouTube channel, on an Instagram video, on a TikTok. We all need it, right? Okay, so I know you do. Maybe could it be this much better if it had a professional voice on top of it? I've done little jobs for orthodontics offices in Kansas, and they paid me. Once you get one little job, you get another little job. And little markets, that's another little hot tip, you guys. When you start doing voiceover, you don't go to New York and LA. Yes, there's a lot of work there, but go to the small markets where they need your voice and you're not competing with other voices. You can walk into a Chamber of Commerce virtual meeting about anywhere and probably be the only voice talent in the room.
There you go.
And then you become one of the most interesting people in the room.
Yeah. Well, when
But
you
here's
think
the thing.
about it, all of the people who, some of the most famous people through the
Yes.
centuries have been
Yes.
those with a very distinct voice, right? And
Yes.
we remember them because of their voice.
Yes. And I'm starting to do an SAV, Such a Voice podcast. I don't think we've launched it. I have 5 in the can, but it has been so much fun because I've been talking to some of the students that have gone through the program. And they're talking about the kind of work they're getting and the range of stuff. One of my students had a really deep, husky voice, and he put a whiskey spot on his demo. And guess what? One of the first jobs he booked, a whiskey spot, and it's front and center on his website now. So there is, if you got to have a good attitude though, people. You got to keep that positive attitude, just like in anything.
Right.
You can't get, okay, I sent out 3 auditions, but I haven't heard anything.
Right.
Can't do that. You know, it's just like if you went on a job interview, yeah, there might be some, you don't wait. What you do is you just keep auditioning, because then when the availabilities come in and the jobs come in, you're like, oh, surprise. Let me do a happy dance. I still do that. I still do it. How many people listen to audiobooks? How many audiobooks are so much fun to do, but that's not a great first job because why? Books are very long.
Right.
And I do want to make a distinction really quickly between character work, narration work, and commercial work. Get started in commercial and narration. When I say narration, that is it's a $20 billion industry voiceover. People don't realize that. It used to be like a $7 billion industry, like only 10 or 15 years ago. Think about that growth. Think about the pandemic where we were socially isolated, right? In our home studios, working a lot from home. All the recording studios shut down. And guess what? They haven't reopened. So if you want to do voiceover, you have to get your home studio set up and get help with all these things. Don't try and do it on your own. It's lonely out there. You know, It is an investment though. If you really want to do it, and I just want you to think in your head, if you're thinking about doing voiceover, do you want to make money with your voice? And if you do, put a 1 in the chat. And if you do, I would love to talk to you and help you evaluate the voice and give you some other resources on where to go to get coaching and training.
Are you by chance offering a special gift or anything like that today that might help some of these people at least get started or find out more information?
Yes, I am. It is 7 tips to find more power in your voice. And they're really good hot tips, people. So you want to get that. And it is a way to stay in touch with me. But someone told me that I was having some trouble with my website. So you guys can see Justine Reese at Such a Voice is an email address. Please write it down, or maybe someone can put it in the chat too, just in case my website's not working. The link.
Looks like they put the link in there. Why don't, can someone click on that link and just make sure that the link is working? Yes. And let us know that it's working and that you can get to Justine's gift there, because this is awesome. We should all get that. It's working. Yay. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. And then keep the email in case the link from that isn't getting back to my email or something. But I would love to talk to anybody, and I'm accessible. Any other questions that I'm not answering? Because I love to talk about this stuff.
Yes. While you're thinking about your questions, let me just remind everyone that you will get so much more from this summit than you already have if you sign up as a VIP. Because here we are talking to the marvelous Justine, and yet there's other speakers that you might not get to see today, while you're having lunch or doing the laundry or whatever it might be. And so make sure that as a VIP, you'll have the recordings of everybody's session through the whole summit, so you won't miss anything, and you'll be able to listen to it while you're doing other things. Also, there is a panel discussion happening at 1 p.m. Pacific time today. We want you to tune in for that, because you'll be able to hear 4 or 5 experts all at one time giving you some advice about things. So that would be an invaluable session to attend. And also,
are we all able to come at 1 o'clock, Jackie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
everybody's able to come at 1. Yeah. And so team, if there's a link for that 1 o'clock session that you could put in the chat to make sure that everyone knows how to get there, that would be awesome. So Justine, what are some of the possible challenges we might run into if we decide to look at voiceover as a side career, or as maybe a possible new career? What are some things that we need to know that might confront us so that we don't get discouraged when we see them?
Okay, that's a great question. One is support. You will feel very lonely if you try and go this one alone. and you can get support from a coach. I do work with a third party, and we have an amazing community. And so if you don't have that community to turn to, even when things are great, to go, oh my gosh, I just booked my first job, or I am struggling. I have been auditioning for the same kinds of things and that something's not working. And maybe you can get in a workout group. So you need to be in an environment, just like anything, like when you start going to the gym and you go to yoga and you get a community with that, that's a beautiful thing that can help keep you going. So that will be a challenge if you try and go it alone. Get community, get support. Think about those 4 things I talked about. If you really want to do this, don't skip out on training. Don't skip out on professional demos. Don't skip out on learning how to use a home studio, making great recordings. And the 4th thing is marketing. And I can help you, direct you, and don't think about going local. That's another great piece of advice. A lot of people are like, I want to go to the local studio. No, because that's not where you're going to work. You want to go somewhere where you have all that lifetime support in all 4 of those areas. And here's a really hot tip. When your scripts for your demo are customized, like Jackie, is there a charity you love? Probably your own, right?
I do. I love my own charity.
Okay. So you know what? If you were going to make a demo, we would write a script for you about your own charity. Now you could write it, you would have input too, but then your demo is what? It's a little piece of you. It's like a little reel. It might even be a marketing piece for your nonprofit. Absolutely. So think about making a demo and work with a group that's going to help cater to your journey and not just be a cookie cutter. Like, here's a script out of a filing cabinet for, Lancome, but it doesn't really suit Jackie's voice. We want to customize those things. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a few more minutes. So now I wonder if there's some people thinking, okay, what is the investment to this? For instance,
great question.
What would a home studio cost, realistically? And what would the initial training look like as far as cost goes, so that we can go, yeah, I want to plan for this. So I got to make my budget work.
Okay, I want you to think about starting a business if you want to do this and make money, right? Just like anything. And I know I spent $65,000 on a franchise that didn't work out. I wished I had spent 10% of that, about $6,000, on myself. You're investing in yourself. I'm going to give you a range of $4,500 to about $7,000 to get those 4 things done. And you can do, I know with us, we have payment plans. We work with people for 12 to 24 months sometimes, because we want you to succeed once you're evaluated. And it's not for everybody. I'm going to be honest with you. I just want you guys to know that. So that's it. I love that you asked that question, because you got to think about the investment. If you want to, you're going to make that back. You can make 7 figures in this industry, I have a webinar, by the way, and I think it might be part of the VIP, but if it's not, I'm happy. If you email me, I will send it to you for free. A webinar talking about, it's an 80-minute video talking about all the things you need in voiceover. And then you get to sign up for a free consultation with me. So I'm happy all you got to do is email me to get that. Okay.
And so all you have to do, email her, contact her, and then let her do an evaluation of your voice.
Yes.
And figure out from a pro, hey, do I got what it takes? And if not, what do I need to get what it takes? And then you go from there, right? And imagine, parents, how really powerful this could be for your kids. And imagine how it could be really powerful for you. Justine and I think, agree on this. Our voices are meant to be heard. And our messages are meant to be provided for the world to know and to be inspired from. So this, if you haven't done it yet, is a chance for you to really get your voice and your message out in the world.
Yeah.
Justine, thank you so very much for offering this amazing opportunity and for maybe providing some epiphanies today of some people listening going, oh, I never thought of that before. I hope there's some of that going on. I would invite all of you again to stay around for the next session coming right up, and be sure to get VIP so that you can get Justine's VIP gift as well. And we'll see you all hopefully in the panel discussion in a few hours from now. So thanks for joining us, Justine. It was
words have power. Your words have power.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session from the Health, Wealth, Wisdom Parents Edition Summit. For recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you run into any problems during the summit, email our support team at admin@rolemodelmaker.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic guest coming right up.